So we're wrapping up, as I said here. Like, there is very little juice left in this building. A lot of folks are on their last leg here. If you cover Arkansas or you cover Texas A&M, you're still locked in because your team's here. But everybody else is kind of running on fumes a little bit. And I took the opportunity this morning to just kind of think about what narrative I've seen shaped over the last 4 days. And it's nothing earth-shattering, but it is very clear and apparent to me, and it's not like, oh, somebody mentioned that. This is a thought that is generally almost universally held. And it is that LSU is probably right now in most people's top 4 in the SEC, and that puts you right on the fringe of a playoff berth. I think that most people that I talk to consider that Tennessee is probably going to take a step back, think that Ole Miss is probably going to take a step back, and think that the team that is most likely to emerge from the middle of that pack is potentially LSU. And it feels like an eternity ago that LSU grabbed the microphones here in Atlanta. It was Monday morning, first thing, 9 o'clock. And because everybody's gas tank was completely full at that point, it just felt like there was more energy and more juice. And I feel like LSU had the most to say of every team that was here. Now, that doesn't mean anything at all when you get to play in football games. None. Zero. But it did make it crystallize that, like, LSU, when we get to Thanksgiving, is either going to be a team that has gotten back to the level of competing for championships or is going to be a punchline. Like, I don't think there is any other way to frame the conversation. And I don't think there's really anybody else in the SEC that I feel that way about. I mean, I don't think it's just because I cover LSU and I want LSU to win. LSU's the only team that I saw walk around this College Football Hall of Fame all week start talking about national championships. I didn't hear anyone else do that. Brian Kelly did it. I didn't hear anybody walking around talking about winning the Heisman. I heard Whit Weeks say that about Nussmeier. And I didn't hear anybody speak with as much authority about a game on the schedule as LSU did about Clemson. And there are probably some of you listening to that would go, well, they sound like idiots. Why are they talking a big game? Just go out there and win. And there are probably some of you that go, good, I'm glad they're fired up and they feel like they've got to do something different. The fact of the matter is none of that really matters. But it doesn't make it any less true. Like, this LSU team has got an expectation attached to it that has created a situation where you are either – okay, LSU's back. Brian Kelly got it figured out. They figured out the NIL thing. They figured out the transfer portal thing. They got their quarterback in place. Joe Sloan did figure out how to call plays. Blake Baker did fix the defense. Now LSU is back to being a team that everybody considers a threat in the Southeastern Conference. Or Brian Kelly's not going to get this done at LSU's bad fit. Like, can you, the listener, can you think of a single outcome where LSU is not in one of those two camps? Like, 9-3 right out of the 12-team playoff, that's a failure. And it'll be looked as such. And then think about all the pieces that'll be missing from this team. Like Braylon Moore, Josh Thompson, gone on the offensive line. Garrett Nussmeier, gone at quarterback. Out at wide receiver, Chris Hilton gone. Aaron Anderson gone. Barry Brown gone. Nick Anderson probably gone. Look at the defense. Jack Pyburn gone. Whit Weeks gone. Harold Perkins gone. Jacobian Guillory gone. Jamari Butler gone. Out on the outside, maybe Ashton Stamps leaves at safety. I mean, you get the point. Like, this is a team that most of your starters on offense or defense are going to be moving on. And that means it's time to go. And I don't think it's because I'm sitting here on Thursday when everybody's out of gas and half the people are gone, more than half the people are gone, and there's no energy in here, and LSU went when there was a ton of energy in here. I've watched everybody come through. I've watched probably 11 of the coaches talk. I've heard the quotes and sound bites on Twitter and from the other media members. We've sat in the sports bar at 10 o'clock at night and talked about who talked to who and what happened there. And, like, nobody brought as much juice to this thing as LSU did, and that's why you come up and you go, well, you're either talking the talk and walking the walk, or you're a joke. Like, that, it feels like that's the corner that LSU has painted itself into. And, yes, my, like, awareness level of what LSU's doing is higher than most of the people here. But, again, I think even with that caveat, that's how I feel about the biggest narrative that has emerged from SEC Media Days. Like, you don't have the monster personality coaches anymore that are going to steal headlines. Like Les was a goofball up there, and you heard what he would say. And Saban would always come with his agenda, and he would drive home a point, whether somebody asked about it or not. He was going to talk about it. And you've had big personalities like Brett Bielema was, and certainly Steve Spurrier fits into that category. And like you had, and like Lane came here and. He's big talker on Twitter, but he was kind of monotone and mumbling around like here, and you're not going to get a ton from Sam Pittman. Like Mark Stoops went today, and like that's just not going to be a stand-up comedy routine. And you just look around. Hugh Freeze, no, not Billy Napier. Is dial tone. Like he's probably a great guy, seems like it, but there is a lot of vanilla that is in this coaching fraternity in the SEC, and LSU came out swinging on Monday, and nobody's really done that since. So I do think that our team, the one we cover, the one we talk about, was probably the most interesting team here outside of Arch Manning. Like, everybody wanted to talk about Arch. It was Arch Mania. There was a horde around him. We talked about it a lot. I guess that was 2 days ago. They're all run together at this point. But Arch and LSU was kind of it. And so now we'll see what the order of predicted to finish is. But I think LSU is probably going to finish fourth in that. It comes out tomorrow, and I'll talk about it on the show tomorrow, assuming we get home. But I think LSU will probably be picked fourth. And that puts LSU squarely on the bubble to make the college football playoff. And I think LSU and Kalen DeBoer are the two teams that have put themselves in that position where you better get this done. Kirby's got all the goodwill in the world. They'll probably get it done. Sark feels like he's driving that thing really, really well. I don't think the expectations are very high on Ole Miss. I don't think anybody expects Tennessee to take a massive jump with all that they lost from last year. South Carolina's got a little bit of buzz, but it's still South Carolina. Do you really feel like that's going to be a team that takes a huge step forward? I don't get the sense from talking to people about Texas A&M that there's a feeling that is imminent in year two. It's LSU and Bama are the two teams right there that have got to get things done, and that's kind of the narrative, I think, that's been shaped over the course of these 4 days here at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta.
Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.